Whoa! This thing will really go.
This is the very popular Hiboy P6 fat tire e-bike. I'm just getting here out of the box, getting it ready to assemble. I was actually quite impressed. It's like over 80% already assembled directly out of the box. There was just a couple of things that I had to do to it here, getting all the protective plastic off of it, which is always very important. I always look at how a bike is packaged when I receive it from the companies. First off, because that tells me how much they care about their product being delivered in one piece. Hiboy did a great job of protecting this e-bike. The front wheel was super easy to put on with that nice through axle, and then the pedals always very straightforward. Threads were perfect on the pedals, and then the handlebar was really the only part that had to be assembled, and that was simply by taking out the 4 bolts that go through the front out and then inserting the handlebar, and then you can kind of position it at the angle that you want to. I do recommend that you angle that handlebar properly per standard bike guidelines, and then there was plenty of play with seat post itself. I'm sure you would agree that the bike itself is beautiful, well constructed, looks great, but it's all about the ride quality. And I was quite impressed right off the bat with the ride quality of the Hiboy P6. It just felt like a great mountain bike underneath me as I rode on these trails. That 750 watt efficient, brushless, powerful motor really could be felt when you are pedaling on this bike. It kicks in nicely, it kicks in smoothly, and it just makes for an entirely fun ride. This thing was cool.
I would not mess with him. Oh, he Hiboy versus bull. You're really kicking a bull right now. He's gonna take you here in a second. Are you sure he likes that?
Come out.
Yeah.
It actually feels a little more powerful than the other ones I've been on. I'm on like assist 3, but even just giving it a little gas, it's heavier, you know? So I'm wondering if the battery, I don't know a lot about the batteries, but is it like bigger or stronger? Or... Yeah, on that, I don't even have to do anything. I just barely pedal and it's whoop. See, look at that. So I'll just hold the throttle, see how fast we get going. 28.5 miles an hour.
Now, I wouldn't recommend kicking a bull in the head like my friend John was toying with that bull, but I would recommend the Hiboy P6 for a few different reasons. One thing is you get puncture-resistant fat tires right out of the box. That Shimano 9-speed gear is really helpful at higher speeds. I like having the 9 speeds there. It's got hydraulic suspension on the front fork, and it felt responsive, it was adjustable, and it had 80 millimeters of travel, so any terrain was not a problem with this. It has mechanical disc brakes that felt responsive, about what I expect on most e-bikes like this. I think that going with full hydraulic brakes would have been a nice touch on this, but that's something you could probably upgrade on your own. But the brakes out of the box were solid. The front light is a high luminance headlight. It got the job done, but here again, I wish they would have stepped it up with a little bit more powerful headlight, but it does get the job done. 26-inch fat tires really made for a very comfortable ride on this. It also handled pretty much any terrain we threw at it, including riding through some very thick sand in the washes here in Tucson, Arizona, whether we were on pavement, off-road, on-road. It didn't really matter with the P6. You could handle the terrain. That front fork took care of any of the bumps that we went over. Now, it isn't a full suspension mountain bike, but in this case, it really did well even without the full suspension. It was still comfortable and you had a lot of traction on that back wheel. That's one drawback to having a full suspension, is that you do lose some traction on that back wheel. So we were not afraid to ride anywhere with this. Even if there was a bunch of thorns around, this e-bike really handled the terrain, and that puncture resistant tire really stood up without giving us any flats. So I would be confident to ride this bike in mud, snow, dirt, sand, you name it. I would throw it at the P6 and see how it handles. The Hiboy P6 is definitely an off-road beast, but it was impressive on the pavement, and that's what really surprised me. A lot of times the e-bikes that are designed for pavement are good in pavement, but not so good on the off-road aspect of their construction or their geometry. And I just found the Hiboy P6 to be a really well-balanced e-bike, and especially for the price point. The fact that it is less than $1,500, you're getting a superb mountain bike, off-road bike. This could easily be a commuter bike and an off-road e-bike slash mountain bike, because the terrains that you can ride on this is just limitless, in my opinion. It is a little bit on the heavy side. So if you're going to go over some really tricky terrain, you're going to find yourself carrying your bike a lot, then that might be one consideration. But that's going to be the case with any kind of e-bike. You're not going to want to go over super bouldery where you're carrying your bike on your back. But the one thing that this e-bike had is a
tow feature on this. So if you get off the bike and just hold down the minus button for 3 seconds,
Oh,
tow feature.
while you're holding the minus?
Yeah. So if you let go of the minus, it stops.
And that's actually a feature that I have on my Specialized S-Works Turbo Levo E mountain bike that I have not seen on any of the other e-bikes. So it's great to see that feature here brought to the Hiboy P6.
What are your thoughts on Hiboy?
Yeah, I feel a little high after riding the Hiboy. I had a last night, but who needs it?
We had to
Just-
leave that out of YouTube.
I had a little bit last night, but who needs it? You can have the Hiboy.
Yeah, that actually surprised me. I had a hard time keeping up with you.
Yeah, no, it's robust and speedy, and you know, I was in that deep sand. Impressed. It did okay. I mean, I don't think it's meant to actually be on something that thick or that deep, but it still handled it. So
With the gears, do you feel like you were able to boost it?
yeah, you know, you look at what gear I had it in the whole time.
Yeah, 9 the whole time.
Yeah, so I never had to put it in lower gears with the pedal assist.
A lot of these, they only go up to 7 or 8, so having a 3.
Yeah, no, I had it in the speediest gear all the time, and if I needed help, then yeah, pedal assist or just the throttle. I wasn't really getting much of a workout. I was getting more of a fun out.
You gotta work your emotions out too.
Hiboy worked out the emotions.
That's my take on the Hiboy P6. Check the links in the description of this video. See you guys on the next one.